This particular story I ran across on my own when I saw it, and it bothered me for a lot of different reasons. First of all, we're going to be discussing things that have to do with alcohol and drinking and stuff like that because it's a very horrible thing to do. People talk about alcoholism. If you need to get help, get help. Stop involving children. And you know what? Stop involving cars too. Like, I don't know what it is about people that love to drink and drive. It's a horrible thing. And there are even organizations specifically against people who are against drunk drivers. So let's take a look at this story. Beautiful little angel. So let's get into this.
Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, new website articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer.
And I'm getting this story from lawandcrime.com, my favorite source for information. So thank you and shout out to them. A woman is accused of drunkenly driving her car into a Georgia lake and standing on top of the submerged car before being rescued while her goddaughter, this beautiful angel right there with a beautiful little smile, her goddaughter remained submerged underwater inside the vehicle, and I think she was in a car seat. Nafiza Samad, who is this whore right here, this dummy who loves to drink and drive apparently, only 23 years old, out here just behaving in the most stupid way possible, faces several charges from the incident, including driving under the influence, endangering a child while driving under the influence, serious injury by vehicle, reckless driving, and child safety seat violations, according to Spalding County court records. On August the 10th, which was my birthday that just passed, so while I was enjoying my birthday, I'm going to put this in real context. Enjoying my birthday, right? Which was awesome. Shout out to my best friends who made it such an awesome birthday. I haven't had an awesome birthday in a long time, right? I was dealing with a tornado the year before that destroyed a lot of my property. And then I finally got a chance this year to enjoy my birthday, and it was awesome. But then it becomes bittersweet because while I'm enjoying it, I think about who's out there suffering, what children are out there suffering, what is going on in this world. And it took everything in me to just really just take a break from all of this researching and stuff that I've been doing. And I'm just like, there's a child out there suffering. I'm sure there's a baby out there that's suffering due to somebody else's stupidity, somebody else's stupid choices. And you look at this angel, and I'm like, this was happening on that day. On August the 10th, an Acura TL sedan was seen speeding on Dundee Lake Road into a parking lot of Dundee Lake, authorities say. Once in the parking lot, the vehicle continued to move fast, and the front of the Acura struck large boulders used as traffic barriers. So they could have died on impact of hitting something. The vehicle then vaulted into a grassy area and crashed into the lake, which is some 40 miles south of Atlanta. Authorities say that Samad, this idiot's name? Nafiza Samad, opted to save herself. She opted, and I'm quoting this from the website. This is not my words. She opted to save herself. That was the priority based on her actions. The driver climbed out of the vehicle and stood on top of the car. A 3-year-old child was trapped inside of the immersed vehicle, the state agency said. Bystanders reportedly helped the driver off the car, but minutes passed with the vehicle, and thus the child, identified only by the name of Haley, her name is Gigi or Haley, so shout out to that beautiful angel, was still underwater. Now, I don't know if if the car was filled with water by this point, but it was going underwater, so the oxygen level was definitely rapidly declining. A Spalding County Sheriff's Office's deputy and Spalding County Fire Department lieutenant arrived at the scene and were informed about a dangerous situation. They swam out to the car where they could see the bubbles coming up. Spalding County Fire Chief Mike Bird told the news. He said the fire lieutenant dove into the water while the deputy held onto him just in case he got into trouble because they had no equipment, no mask, they didn't have anything. So shout out to these heroes, by the way, right? Risk their life to try to save someone else. Shout out to them for that. The firefighter did have a tool called a window punch, which he used to break the car window. And then when he brought the child to safety, but still the toddler's chances of survival did not look great. The child was not breathing. She did not have a pulse, Bird said, adding that she was in full cardiac arrest. However, the first responders kept using life-saving measures. They were able to revive the baby on the scene. That's the part that makes you smile and just say, thank the man above for them at least reviving the baby who still has a long road to recovery. Long road. But they were able to revive that baby. Just as a father, that just really just warmed my heart. It really did. They got a pulse back and the child started breathing on its own. Bird believes the child could have been underwater for as long as 6 minutes. 6 minutes. I'm not going to even do the song or nothing like that because this is not a funny moment. 6 minutes is a long time. And I'm not saying that the baby was without air for 6 minutes, but it's possible that she might have been without air for that long. The 3-year-old girl was airlifted to a children's hospital in Atlanta and as of Wednesday was still breathing according to a GoFundMe that was set up by her mother. So we'll talk about the mother here in a minute. Let me get the GoFundMe up here. Y'all know I'm not against GoFundMe. I'm just pro life insurance. But I want y'all to take a look at this. This is one of those rare situations where I actually support the GoFundMe being created. The child survived. The child has a long road to recovery. But the child survived. She is currently breathing on her own. They're only asking for a $6,000 GoFundMe, and I hope that with me broadcasting this as well as others in the true crime community and maybe even the news stations, they ought to be able to get that $6,000 pretty quick. And I hope that they go above and beyond that, right? So this is one of those situations where a GoFundMe actually makes perfect sense, okay? So if y'all ever wanted to support a GoFundMe, this will be a good one to support. So send a little bit of something in there, whether it's $1 or anything like that, okay? The mother set up a GoFundMe. However, her road to recovery is set to be a difficult one. Doctors have confirmed that she sustained a severe brain injury. Right now, Haley cannot talk, cannot eat, or do anything on her own besides breathe, which is still a blessing. She would need extensive rehabilitation, medical care, and long-term support as she works to recover to rebuild her strength. So y'all pray hard for this baby, please. I hope she makes a full recovery and she can get on her maybe at some point and tell her story. Nothing would make me happier. According to WSB, Samaya was the child's godmother, and she was supposed to be taking the girl to get pull-ups, an effort in transitioning from diapers when the crash occurred. So this woman appears to be a chronic drinker, to be intoxicated and to not have this baby at your focus lets me know that you probably have a drinking problem, and probably a large drinking problem. And if she has a large drinking problem, I would think that maybe the biological mother might know that that woman, Nafisa, might have a drinking problem. Why am I bringing this up? If you know this, why would you trust somebody like this with your child, especially when you're talking about transport and drinking? If you know that you have somebody that's an alcoholic, I'm sorry, they're not driving a damn thing. They ain't driving my kid no effing where. Y'all get me? I wouldn't even be an advocate for her driving on her own, let alone driving my child around to go get nothing, to go get anything. Just want to throw that out there. I'm castigating the mother because I take this stuff so seriously, because the mother might say, she might come out and say, well, I didn't think about it that deeply. Well, you have to start thinking that deeply. Here's another thing I want to point out. Is she blood related? They said she's the godmother. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for bringing that up. Excuse me. Thank you for bringing that up. They said the godmother. So this sounds like a friend. This does not sound like a blood-related family member. I would like to know where the biological father is. Right? It seems, and I'm not accusing her, but I'm just saying in a lot of these stories that involve our babies, there's an absence of the father, or it appears to be. Maybe it's not in this story. I'm speculating. All speculation. It seems that these mothers, not all, will let anybody and everybody watch their kids, and it's okay. But they will give the biological fathers hell and high water before they'll ever, no pun intended about the water, that will let them watch their kids. They'll let anybody watch their kids. They'll let a boyfriend that they just met 3 weeks ago that they're interested in being in a relationship with or getting to know better watch their kid while they run off to work to go work an 8-hour shift. And this man might not have ever watched a kid in his life. They'll let anybody watch the kid except the dads, is what I'm saying. In this situation, you're letting a drunk drive your kid around. That just sounds like a poor ass choice. Don't tell me you didn't know that this chick was a drinker. I'm pretty sure she knew. Anyway, the child has reportedly been taken out of Children's Hospital intensive care unit, her mom said. She added that the crash was caused by someone I trusted. The car plunged into the lake, and by the time first responders arrived, the car was completely submerged with my baby trapped inside and the driver standing on top of the car, not trying to help my child, Tamika Whitson wrote. I guess that's the mother. Despite the devil's attempts to take her from us, my baby has proven to be stronger than anyone could imagine. She's fighting with everything she has, and I believe with time, prayers and support, she will defy the odds. And I agree with the mom there. I think she will too. I pray that this baby makes it a full recovery. As of Thursday, the case is still being investigated, led by Georgia State Patrol's Specialized Collision Reconstruction Team. These terms. Video of the car in the aftermath of the crash shows a shattered windshield, tires coated in mud, and the front bumper removed. Let me give you guys the fair usage. I only got a couple videos on this, and we'll go from there. Let's get it.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody. which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 USC 107.
If y'all are listening, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up. It'll share this video so more people can see it. I know we're having some issues here. I don't know if that's on my side or YouTube side, but nonetheless, we are here. Let's talk about this. Let's take a look at the news videos. Here we go.
Tonight, 8/11, a 3-year-old is in the hospital after a car crashed into Dundee Lake in Spalding County. So troopers say this afternoon the car sped down Dundee Lake Road, just ripped through a parking lot, hitting boulders and plunged into the lake. Investigators say the driver climbed out and stood on top of the sinking car while the 3-year-old was trapped inside. A deputy and a firefighter pulled the child out, performed CPR, got a pulse back, which is great, before the child was actually flown to the hospital. Investigators say the driver was drunk and now facing a slew of charges, including DUI and child endangerment, and we're working to learn the child's latest condition tonight.
A 3-year-old girl is alive today thanks to the quick and courageous actions of first responders in Spalding County. On Sunday, a car crashed into Dundee Lake. The driver escaped. They stood on top of the sinking vehicle, but the toddler remained trapped inside the car in her car seat, submerged underwater. Lieutenant Fetters and Deputy Gray went into the water to help. Fetters dove under the surface to find the child while Gray held tightly to him for safety. Once pulled from the water, a Deputy Holder started CPR and another deputy jumped in to help, refused to stop until he had a sign of life, and moments later the child's pulse returned. She was taken by helicopter to a nearby hospital for treatment. The driver now faces charges including DUI and child endangerment. So thanks to the bravery and teamwork of all of these first responders, this little girl has a fighting chance. Because
in jail, charged with DUI, 23-year-old Nafiza Samad has been identified as the driver of the vehicle. 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn spoke to a witness who heard the crash, saw the car sink, and then jumped in to try to save both Samad and the child.
I heard a big boom in the lake and I saw water splash up like this.
Misty Dean was with her nephew and his friends at Dundee Lake Park on Sunday.
I saw the car in the water.
Troopers say the driver was flying down the road, slammed into these large rocks in the parking lot, vaulted into the grass, and kept on going until she plunged into the middle of the lake. By the time Misty got to the edge of the water, the woman was out of the car.
All she kept screaming was, "Someone please help me, I can't swim, my baby is trapped in the car."
The baby trapped in the back seat.
I jumped in the water, I took about 3 steps, and then I just took off swimming. And I was praying that God helped me get there and back safely.
She finally made it to the woman, the car now underwater.
And I pulled her to me. And I was trying to swim with my legs, and I picked her head up out the water. I said, "Hold on to me."
Do you know how drunk she had to have been to even get to that point? She was probably pedal to the floor, had no awareness at all, but she had enough awareness to try to get herself saved. You notice that? Nafiza saved herself. She had enough wherewithal to save herself. She had to have that pedal floored.
And she was on her back.
She found the strength to get them back to shore.
I tried to get back in the water to go swim to the baby.
Misty is battling breast cancer and recovering from a double mastectomy.
I got too exhausted. I knew I was not going to make it, and I was hurting here.
When firefighters arrived, she pointed them to the car.
It hurt me that I could not save the baby. But I tried. I really tried.
And I know that woman is dealing with breast cancer, brokenhearted, and she tried her best to try to help. So thank goodness for those firefighters and those officers that went out there and, like they said, gave the baby at least a fighting chance.
Feet underwater. The car crashed into a lake. Police say the woman driving the car you see next to me was drunk. Channel 2's Tom Regan was at the lake in Spalding County near Griffin. The fire chief told him this was a big team effort.
Quickly, dispatch came back, said we had a car submerged in the lake, possibility of people trapped to include an adult and a child.
This is the Acura TL after it was pulled from the lake Sunday afternoon. The front smashed in. A Spalding County Deputy Gray and Fire Lieutenant Jonathan Fetters first arrived at the lake. Bystanders rescued the driver, 23-year-old Nafisa Samad, who was on the roof of the car, but they learned a young child was still inside.
They swam out to the car where they could see the bubbles coming up. Lieutenant Fetters dove down while Deputy Gray held on to him in case he got in trouble because they had no equipment and no mask. They didn't have anything. Didn't he have what's called a window punch with him? He popped the window on the passenger side car, was able to get the child out.
They quickly rushed to the shore with the little girl. Things look grim.
The child was not breathing and did not have a pulse. It was in full cardiac arrest.
Wow, and you were able to revive the child.
They were able to revive the child on scene. So they got pulse back in. The child started breathing on its own.
Paramedics called in a chopper to airlift the child to Ochoa Hospital in Atlanta. A miraculous rescue. How long was that child underwater?
I don't have the exact time, but we're guessing possibly as much as 6 minutes. Just took a lot of courage and they were going to get this child out between the two of them, attitude, and they made it happen.
That was Tom Regan reporting true heroes right there. The chief told Tom 2 deputies helped give CPR to that child. He's told she's in stable condition at the hospital. The driver faces numerous charges, including DUI, reckless driving, and child endangerment. It's unclear at this point how she's related to that child.
So I'm going to pray to the man above, to the heavens above. Make this baby have a full recovery. She is such a strong angel to even be to this point, but she is really looking at an uphill battle. And I would love to see her beautiful smile, for her to be able to be completely functional. And I hope that she can make a full recovery past anything that this woman caused to happen to her. So y'all keep this baby in your prayers. To the parents, the mother and father, I would love to talk to both of y'all. Please keep us updated. Keep your GoFundMe up there. If you're able to do another GoFundMe and maybe increase the amount. These are the type of GoFundMes that we do want to support. A child did survive, and this living baby can absolutely use your support, okay? So let's get justice for this baby, and thank goodness that they were able to revive her and gave her at least a chance of survival. So this is a bittersweet story, okay? So keep her in your prayers. We can report back to this if we can get some more information, okay? Thank you.